talk with the gunman outside, and the gunman shot through and hit Zapata and Agent Avila.
Any word spread to the surviving agent? Did he hear them say anything?
The surviving agent, no, but I assume that the report is based on his witness account, and he's been released from the hospital in Houston as of today, this afternoon.
Dudley, thank you. Our next guest is a congressman from Texas. His district is along the border and includes Laredo. The special agent shot and killed yesterday was based in Laredo before his transfer to Mexico City. Texas Congressman Henry Cuellar joins us live. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, there's not much you can say tonight, is it? I mean, it's astounding. 2 federal agents targeted.
Well, you know, one of the things that they're doing right now, and I've talked to the Assistant Secretary John Morton of ICE last night about this, talked to Secretary Napolitano in person this morning about this, and what they're going to be doing, if they haven't done this already, but as of this afternoon, they were going to debrief the agent that had been flown to Texas, so they can get that, because there's been different accounts, and what they wanted to do, hear directly from him. So if they don't have that information right now, they should have it by tomorrow for sure.
Is this a tipping point? I mean, we've been almost for 2 years here on the record. We've even traveled with Secretary of State Clinton to Mexico, but this is now it's a federal agent, and you know it's a horrible thing that's happened to this agent and his family. But it does amp up this, does it not? Well,
you know, one of the things that we've seen in 1985 when the drug cartels captured, tortured, killed Kike Camarena, they went after him. We don't know at this time whether it was low-level folks that had other motives, or whether it was something that was done from a higher up, but we don't know. But if it was done intentionally, you're talking about the rules have changed over there. We don't know yet, and this is why we need to make sure we get that information.
Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has said that Mexico is like Colombia of 20 years ago, rebuked by President Calderon and President Obama for saying. They say she's wrong. Is she right or is she wrong?
She's correct. Yeah, I know there are some differences. I understand all that. There's some differences, but you got to keep in mind what's happening across the river. We got 2,000 miles of border with Mexico, with 2,000 miles of border, and we're talking about the GA report as to what is under control by our Border Patrol on this side, and there's a lot of questions as to what's in control. There's 2 things we got to look at, Greta. One, we got to stop the violence from spilling over to the U.S. side, number 1, and number 2, in my opinion, we got to go in and send agents. We got about 30 agents over there in Mexico. We want to go ahead and add more agents that they have right now, and this is how we can go ahead and help them.
So that the American people understand how bad this is. And Steve Harrigan, one of my colleagues, has covered wars. He said this is as bad as any war. I mean, when we sat down, we talked about how the violence here, and you told me about the beheading, a revenge beheading. You know, tell the viewers what this is.
Well, you know, they're doing a lot of things. So using car bombing, and we see this in other parts of the world. We're seeing beheading and the YouTube, and they just to send the signal out. In the past, the rules that they had was that they would never attack men and women. I mean, the women and children. Just recently, they just beheaded, I believe, a 2-3-month-old baby as a revenge killing.
It's just astounding. I mean, the violence is just so overwhelming, and it's terrible that now one of our agents is down. Congressman, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Somebody's really wrong. It's either 3 mayors in Arizona or Pinal County Sheriff Paul Bobo. Check this out. A new Government Accountability Office report that the Congressman just mentioned says the Border Patrol has operational control of only 44% of the southern border, and only 15% of our border is airtight. Despite that GAO report, 3 mayors in Arizona are stomping all over Pinal County Sheriff Paul Bobo, saying that he is scaring people when he says the border is unsafe. They even wrote the sheriff a letter and said he should be quiet. The mayors say the sheriff is making the situation seem worse than it really is, but it doesn't look like Sheriff FO is going to put the lid on. He's right here to go on the record from Phoenix. Good evening, Sheriff, and your thoughts tonight as we report about what is going on now. An ICE agent has been murdered in Mexico.
Good evening, Greta. It's not surprising, and it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. And if these 3 mayors want to drink the Kool-Aid of Janet Napolitano, Eric Holder, and Barack Obama, go right ahead. The reality is that we have had, in my county, Pinell County is the #1 pass-through county for drug and human smuggling in all of America. We have seen confiscation of drugs more than double, our calls to the Border Patrol more than double. We have seen pursuits go from 140 high-speed